Hi, I'm Tim Clark with Gasville, USA. Today I'd like to show you this beautiful and quite rare 1967 Impala SS 396. But first, I'd like to share its history as I understand it. Of course, it was sold new to the first owner, who, after a period of time, put it in dry storage for several decades. Then it sold to the second owner, who restored it from 2016 to 2019. Upon completion, he drove it around 1,000 miles. Then I bought it as a dealer in 2020. I sold it very quickly to a man in Oregon in December of 2020. He bought it for his wife as a Christmas present. So he would have been the third private owner of the car. In early 2022, I began trying to buy the car back, and after almost 2 years, the owner agreed to sell it back to me, Gasville, USA. So, based on that information, the car is a three-owner car with a documented 59,000 miles and around 1,500 miles or so on the restoration. The car is quite rare due to the factory options. It has the numbers matching 396 engine. It has the turbo 400 3-speed automatic transmission, 12-bolt rear end, power steering, power brakes, and the full SS gauge cluster with tachometer, which all the gauges were great. It also has an aftermarket custom auto sound, AM/FM, Bluetooth stereo, and the very, very cool and desirable factory installed 8-track tape player, which still works great. The car also has the very rare factory headrest bucket seats. The color codes are correct, marina blue with black interior. Now I installed the rally wheels with the new white wall tires, but if you prefer, I still have the 14-inch rims with radial tires and the factory SS wheel covers. During this video, we're going to start by doing a walk around to check out the paint quality and the body sheet metal. Then we'll check out the front and rear exterior lighting, the door alignments, the door locks, and window regulators. Then we'll open the hood and check out the engine compartment, start the engine, and hear it run. Then we'll move back and look at the interior and check out the instrument panel. After that, we'll move back to the trunk, which still has the bumper jack and a spare tire. Then we'll move under the car and inspect the under chassis. After all this, we'll hop in and take it for a long test drive, including some rural highways, busy city streets, and faster interstate driving. So with all this, let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the door alignments, door locks, and window regulators on this 67 Impala. Snap shut. Very nice. Sweet. Door locks. Now it's locked. Unlocked. This time we'll lock it with a key. Locked. Unlocked. Check out this little wing window. Isn't that sweet? In the rear. And let's check out the passenger side. Again, the door alignments. Snap shut. Very nice. Door locks. Of course, it's locked. Unlocked. And let's lock it with a key this time. Locked. And unlocked. Again, the little wing window. Let's go ahead and start this 396 big block engine and hear it run. Well, I'd like to go ahead and show you the instrument panel for the 67 Chevrolet Impala SS396. We're going to start on the left and work right. So starting on the left, right over here, is the gas gauge. Hopefully you can see that. And the gas gauge does work great. I've used it and there's no problem there. And right below that is the oil pressure gauge. I will go ahead and start the engine and hopefully you'll see that hand sweep up. There it goes. Right at 12 o'clock. Hopefully you're able to see that right there. And while I'm at it, right here next to it is the tachometer, and it works great. And right in the center is the speedometer, and the odometer right now is showing 59,604 miles. And I do have a document showing that is correct miles, or original miles. Moving right over here is the clock. And the clock has never worked since I've owned it either time. I owned this car 3 years ago. The clock didn't work then, and it doesn't work now. Right up here is the engine temperature gauge, and it works great. Right now, it's a little bit on the cold side of normal because the engine's cold. And right below here is the battery gauge, and it's just straight up at 12 o'clock. So I'm going to shut the engine off. And right over here is the lights. I've already demonstrated the lights, but here is, right here in the center will be the high beam indicator. You'll see that that works. And here's the wipers. Oh, got to turn the key on. So there's low. And high. Back to low. And park. Very nice. Right in the center is the horn. And right up here on this steering wheel, there is a separation, as though maybe there's supposed to be a piece of trim right here that's missing. But there is a separation right here. I can't remember if this is walnut or what kind of wood this is. It's my understanding this is the standard optional steering wheel. Let's see, we've already demonstrated the turn signals and the safety four-way hazard lights on the exterior video. I know there's current for this socket. I've already checked it, and I'll be using that for my test drive video. I'm going to be wiring up cameras, and I'll be using this for a power source for my cameras. Let's see, up here is the heater, and now the key is on, so we'll hear the heater run. And right below is my the radio. This is an aftermarket radio. It looks, similar to original. It is a push button radio, but it is all digital, and you'll notice that right now I've got Bluetooth audio. And I cannot show you right now the Bluetooth because I'm using this phone with my camera. And I can't use my camera and Bluetooth for the radio at the same time. The Bluetooth radio works great. And when I do the test drive video, I won't be needing this phone. So then I'll use Sirius from my phone to demonstrate the Bluetooth radio then. Now here's kind of the prize right here. The factory installed 8-track tape player. And also, it's not just that, but it's also the 4-way speaker system as well. If you look at the brochures, I've got pictures of the factory brochures. Not only is it an 8-track tape player, but also the 4-way audio. So I'll demonstrate this. This is really cool. Wait for it. Isn't that cool? Change tracks correctly. Anyway, I just think this is really cool.
The sun is slowly fading in the western sky.
Alright, moving on. So it's got the Turbo 400 automatic 3-speed transmission, center console, and right over here is another ashtray. There's an ashtray in here, and then there's another ashtray right here. And then down in here, if you can see, there's a little cubby hole here as well. The glove box opens up nice. The dash pad is beautiful. I think that pretty much takes care of the instrument panel and electric options, etc. for the 67 Chevrolet Impala SS. Let's go ahead and take a look at the under chassis of this 1967 Chevrolet Impala. Now it's funny, is I actually sold this car about a little over 3 years ago, December of 2020, and very, very little has changed on the car. Actually, from what I understand, it's only been driven about 300 miles in the last little over 3 years. And since the restoration, from what I can understand, it's only got 1,300 miles. The man who restored it drove it about 1,000 miles, and then I got it, and I probably drove it 50 or 100 miles. And then I sold it, and that man, he drove it about 300 miles, and now I just got it back in, and I'm going to drive it around 50 or 100 miles for my test drive, etc. So anyway, let's take a look at this under chassis. And just like before, several years ago, I'm going to show you the same things. I'm going to zoom in here. You can see the body bushings have been replaced. New hardware. Let me back out of here. And with this lighting, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this side or not. But there again, another example of new body bushings. New hardware throughout. Of course, it does have the 12-bolt rear end. And if I remember right, I'm pretty sure that I actually installed these air shocks when I had it, like I say, a little over 3 years ago. I'm kind of a fan of adjustable air shocks, so I can set the attitude, the lift, just the way I like. Now I want to show you something. You're going to see this throughout the car. Of course, the car was driven. It may have been driven in the rain. Anyway, you can see something white. I don't know if I was able to show that or not. I'll go to another spot. See all these white specks? They just wash right off. I'm not going to wash the whole under chassis of this car, but I just wanted to give you an explanation of what all this white is. See, I'm going to do the same thing right here. You can see these white specks. I've got a wet rag, and now those white specks are gone. Those white specks are pretty much consistent underneath. But let's go ahead and keep looking. You can tell that the bushings for the trailing arms are new. It looks to me as if the coil springs were new. When I say new, I'm talking restored. It was restored, I believe, 2016 to 2019. I think it was a 3-year project. So anything when I say new, I'm referring to during the restoration, which was completed in 2019, about 1,300 miles ago. There's a coil spring on the other side. You can see that the emergency brake cable's been replaced. It's really nice and shiny. Nice exhaust system. I'm going to tap on this floor pan. Nice solid floor pans. Really nice. Here's a Turbo 400 transmission. And about a month ago, when I got this car in, I did go ahead and change oil on it. Even though it only been driven about 300 miles, it had been 3 years since I owned it. I wasn't sure if they changed oil or not. So I changed oil. I like using the Valvoline VR racing oil and non-synthetic. I use non-synthetic Valvoline VR racing oil. It's like a, let's see, what was it? I think it was like a 10W50 or something. That's what I use in my other cars. And anyway, that's just what I like. So I just changed oil, probably like 20 miles ago, and a K&N oil filter. And here's another example of these spots. It'd really be nice if a person could get this car up in the air where they could use a low pressure wash on it. It'd sure dress up this under chassis a lot. See, I just wiped that down. Here's a really good example. So see these white spots right here? See how that just wipes off. Now it's nice and black and shiny. A person could spend a little bit of time detailing, really not detailing, just wiping down this under chassis, and it sure looked pretty. I just wiped that up there. So from what I understand, all the suspension, all the steering, brakes, everything rebuilt about 1,300 miles ago or so, and a little over, well, it'll be 2019 when it was done. Beautiful car. Well, I'm excited about this test drive. You know, it's really one of my favorite cars, a 1967 Impala SS 396. It has the numbers matching original 396 engine, the turbo 400 3-speed automatic transmission, power steering, power brakes, even the factory 8-track tape player, which I know I demonstrated before, but it's really cool. I'm going to demonstrate it again. Here's John Denver. Gotta wait for it. It works really nice. Now, in an earlier video, the dash and instrument panel video, I mentioned the custom auto sound AM/FM radio, and I could not demonstrate the Bluetooth because my phone that I use for my Sirius was actually being used with a camera. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. Turn this on. Open this up. Looks like we got Classics 4. And my world is cloudy and gray. You've gone away. So we might listen to that a little bit while I'm cruising if I feel like it. With all that, I am ready to roll. So let's get going. About 60 miles an hour, and I just really don't hear any air noise to speak of. at 12 o'clock. Turn in this church and turn around. Boy, the brakes are just really nice. Cancel cam for the turn signals work correctly. Easily steer with one finger. I think it might have a little bit of a shift kit in the transmission. The transmission shifts not abruptly hard, but I'll just say slightly firm, and that's nice. Well, I've had a really enjoyable test drive. The car just drove fabulous. I'll try to go over everything. Gas gauge works. I filled up with gas, and of course the needle went over to full. The oil pressure was either at straight up 12 o'clock normal, or maybe just a little bit high. Not much, but maybe just a little over normal, which is actually good. I'm gonna roll this window up so you can hear me better. I checked the RPM on the one road when I was going about maybe 62 or 63 miles an hour. The RPM, I believe, was like 2400 RPM. I got going on the interstate around 70 and 75, and I forgot to check to see what the RPM was. Speedometer, according to my GPS, is off just a few miles per hour, and I know why that is. I put on a little bit taller tires. These white wall tires are just a little bit taller, so that means that the speedometer rotates fewer revolutions than shorter tires. So the speedometer is registering maybe about 3 miles an hour slower than what you're actually moving. I already mentioned before the clock, it doesn't work. The engine temperature was really nice, either straight up 12 o'clock normal, or maybe just a little bit on the cool side, so that's good. The battery gauge just stayed right up 12 o'clock normal. The cancel cam for the turn signals works correctly for both directions, so that was nice. I used the Bluetooth a few times on the radio and works great. I've already mentioned the 8-track tape player many times, and that's really cool. The engine had plenty of performance. It's not a race car, but it's a nice muscle car, and the engine just ran really nice and smooth. Let's see, the transmission shifted really nice. I think it has just a slight shift kit in it, nothing radical, nothing crazy, but it shifts just slightly firm, which is nice. Let's see, the brakes were great. Boy, I love these brakes. It brakes really nice, and it does not pull left or right, just good and straight. And again, I just really like the brakes on it. Steering was nice and tight. I'm sure that all the steering components were probably rebuilt or replaced, during the restoration. I guess I don't necessarily know that, but it certainly feels that way. It's nice, responsive steering. Let's see, the suspension. Yeah, the suspension's nice and quiet and comfortable. There was not any crazy rattles or, suspension noises. It just rode really, really nice and smooth. Trying to think what else to talk about. I'll probably remember something after I quit. But yeah, I just love the car, and everything just was great in it. I just can't hardly imagine why I would sell this, because I'd really like to keep this for me, but I am in business to buy and sell these. But this is what I've been looking for myself for some time. So I may not even end up selling this. This just may be my car. We'll see. But anyway, I appreciate you watching this video. Please feel to call or text me at 479-636-7111. And you can always check out more videos and more cars at gasvillusa.com.